You deeply resonate with the human design information. Every time you hear something or you read something, you're like, that's exactly what's happening with me. But when it comes to the day-to-day implementation, you feel lost. You don't really know how to apply it to your life. And you really know that there's this magic in understanding your energetic authenticity, but maybe you're missing the key to actually really live it out. In this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 tips and tricks that I started utilizing to be able to embody my energetic authenticity and live out my design so that I could remove resistance in my life and find flow like I never knew was possible. Let's dig deep. Welcome to the Human Design Portal, your safe space to decondition so that you can align with the right people, opportunities, and chances in your life. If you're new here, my name is Maika Gabriela and I'm a human design reader, a deconditioning expert, and the founder of the Transformational Human Design Certification. Have supported thousands of unaligned, bitter, unsuccessful, beautiful souls to remove resistance in their life and find flow. And I encourage you to stay until the end of the video because I have a major announcement that I'm so excited to share with you, so don't miss out. In this video, I'm going to share the 5 steps that it takes for you to go from unaligned to aligned. And this is the methodology that I discovered while I was in my deconditioning process and at the beginning of my human design journey, and what I did to support all of the things that I wanted to change and align with, and what I've used for my clients to get the best results. So the first thing we're going to do is address the trust with the universe. The second thing I'm going to discuss is how we can talk about and look at our limiting beliefs. The third step we're going to have to implement is actually being able to create new positive experiences. The fourth step is what are the tools that we can use to support our subconscious transformation and create new neural patterns that allow us to change our reality. And last but not least is understanding the depth of the cellular activation and how we need constant repetition to always align our frequency to our highest self. I can't wait to explain each and every single of these 5 tips and give you the most juice that you can get in this video. Let's get into it. Before I get into the 5 steps that will help you move from just understanding your human design to actually applying it and seeing immediate result, I want to address the number 1 thing that I see my clients being held back by. And that is the concept of I need to learn more before I can actually apply my human design. And this is where people get stuck because human design is such a broad, huge library of information. Like we can look at the channels and understand if you're meant to eat more protein or more carbohydrates. There's strong ascents, digestion. There's endless information. Every of the 64 gates has, 6 profile lines. Like we can go so in depth with the human design information, but that is not what I'm here to do. My main goal in life is to support you to be able to live your dream life, the life that your soul desires to experience. And so my main goal is to give you really easy to understand and applicable tips so you can start embodying your energetic authenticity and actually experience the miracles and the magic that come with living out your design in the same way that I experience them. So we cannot hide behind our intellect. Our society often tells us that the intellect is superior. And one of the main understandings of human design is that actually our body holds so much wisdom. But being in our body can feel scary because we have openness, we have open energy centers. And so we can feel sensitive to our surroundings. It can get scary to actually embody and move in our body and experience what we're meant to experience, but this is also where we learn. This is where we overcome our hurdles. This is where we become wise. And so it is really important to understand that you do not need to know everything before you can start understanding your human design. I have so many clients that come to me and they're like, but I need to know this and I need to know that. And I'm like, but why aren't you starting with the basics? Like we really need to understand that all it takes for you to see the best, most immediate result is living out your energy type. And if you're stuck and if you're not seeing the result, no matter if this is financial, if this is romantic, if you don't see the result that you desire in your life right now, it is because you have not fully integrated and you're not fully living out your energy type. Like, that's it. I said it, okay? Come for me in the comments. I don't care. This is what I have seen. This is what I have practiced. And this is how I've gotten my clients the amazing result that they've gotten. And so we need to really go back to the basics. And it doesn't matter. All of the other things will naturally flourish. All the gates and all the gifts and all of the other things, you will naturally be pulled in your ideal environment if you just follow your strategy and your authority, okay? These are the main pillars. So instead of trying to always learn more and go deeper and deeper, I encourage you to really just start living out your design. Even if there are pieces that you don't understand, always go back to your strategy, your not self theme, and always make your signature your life goal, and the rest will follow, I promise. And I understand that it gives a sense of control to think like, oh, I know it, like I've got to figure out, I can intellectualize the process, but we cannot intellectualize human design. If we try to intellectualize the human design information, we are stuck in our mind. And when we're stuck in our mind, we're often operating from fear. And when we're operating from fear, we're not listening to authority. And when we're not listening to authority, we will get off track to the path of our purpose. So instead of trying to know all of the details of human design, unless you're studying it to become a reader and you're in the human design certification, or you're desiring to become a human design reader or really learn a body graph, if you're here because you just want an aligned, exciting, beautiful, fulfilling life, you do not need to know all of the things. Start with really living out your energy type, and you will see the magic unfold and absolutely transform your life. The first and most essential step is understanding how we need to embrace trusting the universe, trusting ourselves, that it's safe to be our authentic self. And this requires for us to build a trust muscle with the universe, a trust muscle with our own internal experience. So what happens is that for most of us, the human design information, and I'm just going to base the basics, so let's talk about our energy type. No matter if you're a projector, a generator, manifesting generator, manifestor, or a reflector, my lovelies, this will create a fear that comes up because it's addressing our authenticity. And the reason we are not aligned, and the reason we're watching this video, is because there's something deep down inside of us that knows that could be better, that has potential for growth, that we feel we want to expand into, right? There's a vision, there's a dream, there's a feeling that our subconscious is pushing us to experience. And we believe and we sense that there's something in the human design information that will help us get there. And so this just makes us understand that we inherently have an understanding of our energetic authenticity, and we also have an understanding of what that conditioning has created in our life. And it has mostly created illness, it has created unalignment, it has created financial issues, it has created unsuccessful romantic relationships. Like, when we're not aligned, the things that we attract in our life are there to help us see that we're not aligned, so that we can actually rearrange our life and rearrange our energetic authenticity to attract the right things that we're meant to experience. And so what will happen when we first encounter human design is that all of our ideas about ourselves are getting questioned. And we need to understand that because we are unaligned, there has been an experience in our youth, in our childhood, in which when we showed ourselves authentically, because of society or our caretakers, part of that authentic self were not accepted, or we were even emotionally or even physically punished for expressing our whole authentic self. In order to maintain safe, in order to maintain a sense of belonging, in order to feel loved and accepted, we will reject a part of our whole authentic self. In the moment that we reject a part of our whole authentic self, there is an emptiness that is created inside. And that is when we start looking outside of ourselves for approval, for input, for admiration, for love, right? Like, we disconnect from that well of infinite source that comes from within our own divinity and outsource it to the material things and to romantic relationships and like success in our work. And so what happens is that we start creating this very strong narrative, and our experience supports that who we are as an essence in our energetic authenticity is not acceptable, cannot be loved, and isn't safe for us. And this is really important to understand. There is a deep-seated belief, and this is our energetic trauma, that our actual natural way of acting is not safe. And we need to be curious and loving and empathetic to that side of ourselves that has created all of these patterns of survival that now might have created issues in your life, right? So everything that's standing in between where you are and where you want to get at some point kept you safe. So it's important to acknowledge that. The next step that we have to look at is addressing our limiting beliefs, because this is what happens, right? Our energetic authenticity, we hear it, we're like, oh yeah, I'm a projector, like I feel like that's why I have resistance if I'm not invited. Or I'm a manifesting generator and I'm so curious about 1,000 things, but I've been told that that's wrong and I feel so much shame around me wanting to do so many things, and I'm afraid people will think I'm confused, right? And so what happens is that our energetic authenticity, when we hear the human design information, is like, oh yeah, I resonate, that's me. But then when it comes to actually living it out and applying it, the limiting beliefs come up. But how am I ever gonna make money if I can only work 3 hours a day as a projector? But how is anybody gonna take my business serious if I have 10 different offers? But how, are people going to follow my lead as a manifestor? Like, I don't believe that I am that strong. My whole life has been like full of anger and nobody's ever listening to me, So all of these limiting beliefs come out. And it is important to look at them because in these limiting beliefs, we get the chance and the opportunity to look at what is keeping us small, to look at what is the narrative that we have created to continuously create this illusion of being able to belong and feeling safety, right? These limiting beliefs have been put there for us to actually believe that it's safer to not be ourselves than it is to be ourselves. And in this deconditioning process that we experience through human design, we start addressing those limiting beliefs. We start looking at the things that are keeping us small. We start addressing our environment and just the things that have like the ideas and the worldview that we have created around this persona that is not our energetic authenticity, that is not aligned with our human design. And when we're able to look at these limiting beliefs, this is when growth starts. This is when we have to start looking into our inner child. This is when we start being resentful towards our caretakers or the environment or society or whatever it is, right? But I want to just quick sprinkle a little bit of spirituality in there from the Kabbalistic perspective. And this is really interesting because Kabbalah is an aspect of human design. So human design is made out of astrology, the ancient knowledge of the I Ching, the mystic side of Judaism, which is Kabbalah, the chakra systems, quantum physics, and genetics. And so in the Kabbalah, what we learn is that actually what happens is it's not that our parents traumatize us in this lifetime, is that we come with what is called a tikkun. We come with a karma from a past life that we're responsible to change, up-level through, move out of in this lifetime, and we choose the parents that will trigger our past life karma so that we get the opportunity to actually move through it in this lifetime. So I really love this concept of that we choose our parents, and these parents are exactly, and our environment is exactly the parents and the environment that we need for our soul to up-level, whatever it is, come to experience in this lifetime. So that we're not always blaming everybody, but that we actually get out of this victim mode and look at ourselves and become conscious that we're in the driver's seat of our life and that we cannot change anybody, but what we can do is change ourselves and our perspective. And the next step is really important because the third step is reinforcing positive experiences. And this can feel a bit like exposure therapy. Like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, I'm scared, but you're doing it anyway. Because when we do the things that we're scared, we actually create bravery, we create courage, we create self-esteem. When people come to me and they're like, oh, but how can I be braver? But how can I have more self-esteem? Do the things you're scared about. And I know that that's really scary and I hate doing it most of the time as well. Sometimes I can trick myself into being like, oh no, you're just excited, which is also a feeling that we often misunderstand. Oftentimes we misunderstand excitement for fear. And so you can be like, oh no, this is excitement, yay. But more often than not, it's just really being honest with yourself and knowing what you need to do to grow, and knowing where you're holding yourself small, and knowing where you're lacking, and you continuously continue to lack because you're too afraid to address the things that are keeping you small and to go through that uncomfortable situation. But that is the thing that will build courage. That is the thing that builds character, right? And we need to really understand that it's only the difficult things that will like allow us to understand, like, oh, I did a difficult thing, it went good or went bad, but I was able to address it and I've been able to overcome it no matter if it's good or bad. And that's what builds trust within yourself. And so the third step is all about reinforcing positive experiences. And this only comes by taking an actionable step. And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, action is the universal law of success. So there is absolutely no result if you're just reading and listening to these videos on human design all day long, every day, but then you never implement anything. So having this reinforcement of positive experience means I waited for the invitation and I just concentrated on learning the thing that I love. And I wasn't bothered if people would recognize me or didn't recognize me, because I am working on recognizing myself. And then suddenly people were talking to me, and suddenly people were interested in what I'm doing. And suddenly I feel super magnetic and everybody's like wanting my point of view and my input. And I'm like, oh my God, I actually waited for the invitation. This shit works. Wild. And this will create trust within the universe. Step one. This will start allowing your subconscious to move out of that limiting belief. Step two, right? Where you're like, oh my God, actually, I am able to make X amount of money by only working 3 hours. Like, this is possible, right? And so you need to start applying your human design. You need to start taking action when you're scared, because what will happen is that you will reinforce that actually the only way to have an aligned and beautiful, exciting life is by living your energetic truth, is by living in alignment. All of the other options will make you sick, will make you burned out, will make you broke, and will make you lonely, okay? This is what it is. Like, I am really sorry, but I truly believe that unless you are authentic, expressing your soul, life will do everything possible to get you there, right? And it won't do it by being soft and nice and cute. It will do it by bringing you into rock bottom, by making you face your fears, by changing your whole belief system about everything. And we don't need to get it that bad, right? We don't need it to get to that point where we are rock bottom, like on our knees and crying. We can actually be proactive and be like, okay, this is my energetic authenticity. I have the tools. I know that I have my strategy. The strategy for all of you energy types out there is the tool that will help you align with the universe so that you can move resistance and find flow, and you can start acting in alignment. The strategy is, for me, what differentiates human design from astrology, because it is the actionable step. Right now, the second this video is finished, watch till the end because I have a surprise, but right now at the end, until you watch the end of this video, you can directly start using your strategy. There is no reading, there's no thinking, there's no anything. Just focus on your specific strategy. Okay, so the more you do that, the more you will have success stories. The more success stories you have, the more you will be able to change your limiting beliefs and create trust with the universe that it's safe for you to be your whole authentic self. So there won't be any result unless you start taking action. Step 4 is using tools that allow you to actually reprogram your subconscious mind and the patterns that have kept you strong so that you can change your reality. Because this is what happens. Your nervous system, your belief system, and your experience up until now have reinforced day after day and day after day that the only way that you are safe is by not showing up authentically, is by going against your gut feeling, is by sacrificing your own desires and your own path in order to be liked and accepted and feel safe in your surroundings and environment. And this is not something this is so deeply rooted. I want you to understand that This is survival, it's life and death. Like, this is really intense. Like, I feel oftentimes people forget how deep human design goes, like how deep your energetic authenticity is rooted in your soul's purpose. And therefore, it's like a big part of life. It's an intense part of life. And it is such a beautiful tool of guidance, but if we haven't found our way yet, it is also a very strong point of resistance in our life and pain in our life. And so having tools that allow us to address these subconscious beliefs help us operate from the root out, right? Taking action is great, but when we notice that there's resistance, when we notice that there's fear, how do we move out of fear? How do we move out of resistance? We can intellectually understand, like, oh, I'm meant to wait for the invitation. And for example, I remember in the beginning of my human design journey, and I started my human design business. It was summer. I was getting a couple of readings. I was excited, but I was like, oh my God, like, I feel like something has to happen for this to really like get a jump start. And I remember that out of the blue, like a really super cool indie artistic spiritual account that had like 250,000 followers at the time talked about human design. And I was like, oh my God, this is my opportunity. If they feature me, if they talk to me, if they like, tag me in their stories, then all of this audience will get to know me, and then all of these people, and then I will have my client base, and then I will be able to have a successful business, right? I had all of these illusions and projections in my mind, and like, what could happen if, when? And even though I'm a projector and I'm meant to wait for the invitation, I saw myself from outside DMing them like, hi, because they were like, do you know, like somebody who knows human design? And it was like, me, projector syndrome, me, I know. And I could see myself from above, like DMing them, hi, my name is Micah, I'm a human design reader. And at the same time that I was observing myself from the outside, I was also very consciously having this voice in my head, like, Micah, you're not waiting for the invitation. Just because they're asking if somebody knows about human design, they're not specifically recognizing you for your gifts. And so I send the DM. These are like very women empowering sisterhood kind of like account. They didn't answer for 3 days, which I thought was really rude. Then they started like sharing stuff about human design, and they eventually tagged me with like 8 other people. And it wasn't even because I DM'd it, it was because my friends recommended me to them. Right? And so they recognized me and shared that with them. And through that, they were like, oh, this is valid. You know what happened from that tag in the stories? 0. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Interestingly enough, a couple of months later, I got invited on a podcast. And I don't know why, but that just, hit the nail. Incredible magnetism. And I was sold out a month in advance. My readings were booked out a month in advance for 2 years. So that was just, I wasn't acting in alignment. I wasn't waiting for the invitation, right? And so this is a deep-seated fear that comes from years of experience of not feeling seen, of not being recognized, of being in financial distress, of having failed businesses, and that, like fear of like, oh my God, this is gonna fail again. Oh my God, this is never going to work. Like, oh my God, I will never be recognized. This is very deep-seated fear that is connected to our childhood wounds. And so everything that we learn from 0 to 6 is deeply ingrained in our subconscious. Even if we don't recall the specific memories, it is stored in our subconscious. And so having tools that address the subconscious is an incredible way to be proactive around the fears that come up. We can look at the fears that come up, we can look at the triggers that come up, and then address them specifically with different tools. So things that I started doing in my human design journey was addressing my shadow, doing deep shadow exercise around what was coming up for me as my projector energy type. The next thing that I was doing was really reprogramming my subconscious mind. And in the years that I've been doing my human design business, I've created what we call the subconscious dives, which are our in-house meditations. So if you've ever been to a live event where I hold these meditations, you will have had the experience of accessing a subconscious dive. So there's emptying out exercises where you can remove stagnant energy that you have picked up that isn't your own. We have the EFT, the emotional freedom release technique. There are visualizations, affirmations. There's so many things that you can do to support your subconscious to change the patterns. Because beautifully, neuroscience has allowed us to understand that our brain doesn't stop evolving when we're 18. Like my mom told me, and my world was like crumbling. I'm like, she was like, you peaked at 18. And I'm like, what? I haven't achieved anything in life. This is so sad. Luckily for all of us, we're now figuring out and we're learning that we can actually change the patterns of our subconscious mind, and we create new neural pathways and new synapses that allow us to change the way that we perceive life. And when our mind changes its frequency and we have coherence in our brain waves, we actually create a new reality. And this is exactly how I felt when I started utilizing tools to apply them to align with my human design and energetic authenticity, is that my everyday continued to be the same, but my perception and my experience and the magnetism and the success that I started experiencing was magical, out of this world, and absolutely mind-blowing, like anything I could have ever dreamed of. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the huge announce and surprise. So because I have been getting so many messages over such a long period of time, Micah, how can we embody? How can we live out? How can we apply? I have created the Soft Power membership. And this is going to be your magical online temple where you get to have access to these tools that help me align and apply my human design so that you can have immediate result and start taking action and receive miracles and soul blessings in your life. To celebrate the launch of the Soft Power membership, I am inviting you for a free Soft Power activation on the 12th of January. We will gather together online, and I have created a beautiful subconscious dive meditation that will activate your dormant DNA and allow you to create a trust muscle with the universe so that you can really reinforce the belief in that it's safe and that you are loved for being your whole authentic self, so that you have access to your unique gifts and talents that you're meant to share with the world and be able to express your soul's purpose. Don't miss out. Link in the description box below to join this free subconscious dive. I'm so excited and I can't wait. And last but not least, step 5, which is understanding the power of the cellular activation and repetition. So the same that we shower every day, hopefully, we cannot believe or we cannot think that we will do one meditation, we will do one subconscious dive, and then our life will change. That is not how our brain works. Our brain works over repetition, okay? It is kind of like really like writing in the hard drive. We need to rewire the hard drive, and that goes with utilizing these tools again and again and again. So in human design, we have something called the cellular activation. The cellular activation is when we receive an oral transmission. And this is essential because even though you can read the content on my Instagram, and we have so much free, valuable content on my Instagram, go follow me, that is not enough to start your deconditioning process. And therefore, actually rewatching these videos, I got so many DMs of you telling me like, I've watched this video 12 times. Like every time I listen to it, there's something new. This is actually correct. This is actually great. This is a beautiful way to attune your subconscious to the frequency of your energy type and to the frequency of your energetic authenticity. And so cellular activation is a mutation that happens through the specific words that we use in human design that will activate your dormant DNA to start their deconditioning process. There is a change that happens on a cellular level that activates your authentic energy and that allows you to create this energetic trust with yourself. It is a reminder to your conscious and subconscious self of who you've come to be and how you're allowed to express yourself, and reinforces that trust with yourself, with the universe, that change limiting beliefs, and allows you to step into action to be able to reinforce the positive experience that you can have when you're living in authenticity and alignment. So the cellular activation is such a beautiful, incredible, magical tool. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And therefore, listening to videos again and again is obviously great for my engagement, but it's actually really practical for you to start your day, put on a video and be like, okay, like I'm remembering who I am, like I'm connecting to the essence of who I am. Like this is something that over time and repetition will affect your subconscious pattern and create new ways of looking at life and allowing yourself to create this deep trust in your subconscious of what you're allowed to be and how you're allowed to live your life. And so this is really through a constant act of repetition, reminding yourself, listening to videos, listening to whatever it is that you can about human design that really resonates. And again, there's so much information out there nowadays. I invite you to choose 2-3 people, or just me. I invite you to choose a couple of people of your choice that you truly feel have the best interest for you, where the way that they share the information makes you feel good and makes you feel positive, and it's not dogmatic and it's not dark and it's not bringing you down, okay? We want to create this very positive association with your energy type in your energetic authenticity so that you can really like listen to this information, allow it to expand the horizon of what is possible for you so that you can access your soul's dream life. If you've enjoyed this video and you found some value in it, please share with anybody who could use this information. If you're sharing it with your community, tag me and let me know in the comments, what are the things that have helped you most? What are the things that you still have questions on? Let me know what other content you'd like me to create for you. Your opinion matters so much to me and inspires me to continue to hopefully create the best pieces of content that help you the mostest. And remember to subscribe and like this video. And again, I don't care what anybody says. I love you.